So looking at the main causes of environmental problems, the big five: rapid population growth, unsustainable resource use, poverty, not including the environmental costs in economic goods and services and their market prices. Like, you don't take in consideration the waste or the effect of removing certain resources from the environment. Trying to manage and simplify nature with too little knowledge about how it works. So what do you think is the largest or greatest environmental problem? Disease, overpopulation, water shortage, climate change, biodiversity loss, poverty, malnutrition. Now, if you break down each section, you can look at other small subsets within those sections. Like here we're looking at biodiversity depletion, food supply problems, waste production, water pollution, and air pollution. Now you can pause this to take a closer look at it. One method that environmental scientists use to try to figure out the impact of an environmental problem or issue is this equation here, IPAT. If we break the equation down, here up top we're looking at developed countries, and then down here are developing and developed. The P, you gotta know the population size. A is affluence, looking at the consumption per person, and then T is the technology per unit of consumption, and then you can find the impact. You will have to do IPAT equations in class when we return. If you want to look at a larger scale here of the different interactions between the Earth's life support system and human cultural sphere, we can look at air, water, life, soil, and rock, and how they interact with population, technology, politics, and economics. It's another thing that scientists have to look at and consider when determining an impact of a problem. Now here we're looking at some harmful effects of poverty, and it's not shown, but I'll draw it in. Lack of access to, looking at these different categories here. So the first one, adequate sanitation. 2.4 billion people do not have adequate sanitation. Enough fuel for cooking, 2 billion people lacking in that. Electricity, think about that. I mean, all the electricity that you use, 1.6 billion people do not have access to electricity. Clean drinking water, all right, 1.1 billion people. Adequate health care, 1.1 billion people again. And enough food or good health, 1.1 billion people. There are two different types of solutions that are used with environmental science, and most of the time environmental scientists try to be proactive and think of ways to prevent, where most of the time the general public is reactive to certain issues and then they try to remediate. So looking at here, pollution cleanup, alright? Something has already happened, pollution's happened, now we gotta backtrack and try to clean it up. Where sustainable emphasis is prevention. And the same with most of the others. Waste, protecting species, instead of trying to wait to the last second with species, trying to protect them now. Environmental degradation, where here they try to restore. And so on. Increased use resources, population growth, and depleting natural capital.